Shall we begin?
Let's begin now.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to day 5 of Mother's Day cards with the Cricut. So today's card we will be using the Art Philosophy cartridge and the Lacey Labels cartridge. Now I know a lot of you don't have the Art Philosophy cartridge, so I do give you some suggestions on what cartridges, and if you have a die, what die you can use to make today's card. So our card is what is known as an easel card. So the card looks like this on the front, and then as you open it, it sits up like so. And then you have your greeting in the inside, and then I have a further greeting up here at the top. So come on and join me, and I'm going to show you how I made this card. Okay everybody, so we're going to bring up the supplies so we can get started making the card for day number 5. Now once again, I am using the Art Philosophy cartridge, and as I've said before, this has been my go-to cartridge because this has so many images in it that I find myself going back to this one quite a bit. So because I know a lot of people don't have the Art Philosophy cartridge, I'm going to give you some ideas of other cartridges that you can use or dies to make this card. Now I got the idea from Sharon's Scrappy Space YouTube channel, and I'll put a link to her video up here somewhere. So I'm going to have to refer back to my notes because there's a lot of steps in this card. So I use the scallop card, which is on page 31, and it looks like this. So you're going to cut that, and then I also cut 2 of the circle number 2, which is on the same page, and that is page 31. So now I'm going to go to the Gypsy, and then I'm going to give you some other cartridges that you can use to make this card. So let's bring up our Art Philosophy cartridge, and it is key number 11, and it looks like this. So you're going to cut one of those, and that is cut at, you're going to put on your real dial size, and then I cut that at 5 1/4 inches. Now as far as the circle 2, which is also the Art Philosophy, you are going to just hit or tap your number 11 key, and you're going to cut 2 of these, and you're going to cut them at 5 1/4 inches, just like the card. So now, what other cartridges can you use? If you have the Lacey Labels, there is a scallop circle on that cartridge, and what you'll have to do is, if you have your Gypsy, you can take and weld the scallops together, and I've shown how to do that in one of my my Gypsy tutorials. And then also the Sugar and Spice cartridge has a scallop circle, and the straight 3 birds straight from the nest. Or Sharon used the big die scallop circle by Stampin' Up. And with all of those scallop circles, you will have to weld them together to get a card. So now let me go ahead and start putting my card together. So as I said, I've cut this at 5 1/4 inches, and I've gone ahead and inked my edges using the Tim Holtz Distress ink, and this is the Evergreen Bow again, or Evergreen Bow, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. And what you'll do is you're going to take the second scallop circle. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and you're going to cut your actually, you can cut one scallop or you can cut two of the single scallop. And I think the reason why I cut two is because you're going to use this one, your other one, as a template. So if you want to cut just a piece of scrap, you can use scrap. And what you need to do is you need to line up your scallops like so. And the reason why you're doing this, that's just so that you can take and basically you want to score your card. Now I've already pre-scored mine already. And so that's just so that what you want to do is this is going to fold back like so. So that's really basically why I cut two of those. And you can just save this one as a template. And it's just so you can get your scallops to line up. So now I'm going to take my actual other scallop and I want to ink up my edges real quickly. And I'm going to use the evergreen ball again to ink up my edges. So let me do that real quick and then I'll come back. Okay, so now I'm back with my edges inked. And what the next step we're going to do is we're going to take and line up our scallops along here. And make sure that these are lined up correctly, because your easel will stand up like so. And in this, it will lay flat when you want to mail it. Okay, so we'll line up, I'm sorry, not line up. We're going to just set our actual card aside and we'll start working on our embellishments. So we're going to add our top layer. And my top layer is just a circle. And I also pulled that from the Art Philosophy cartridge. And let's see, it is on page 21. So let's go to page 21. And it's just the circle 1 right here. So you can once again use any circle from any one of your cartridges. And I cut that on the real dowel size at 4 1/4 inches. So we'll go to that cartridge and that circle real quick, and it's just a basic circle. So you could use any one of those and do a search on your Gypsy, or if you don't have a Gypsy, you can go to mycutsearch.com and just type in circle and it'll bring up all the cartridges that have a circle on it. So there is where we want our circle. Now before I lay the circle down, this paper is from a DCWV, or I'm sorry, not DCWV. This is from a Prima pack. And it looks like this. It's called Madeline. And these are some of the papers that are in there. And I picked this up at Hobby Lobby when they had the paper stacks half off last year. That was after, before I put myself on the paper diet where I was not going to buy any more papers until this year. So now I'm going to add some ribbon to this. And this is my ribbon. And because I did not have any brown ribbon, I took some cream color satin ribbon and I used my touch marker, and this color is mahogany, to color the ribbon the color that I wanted. So I want to line this ribbon up over here on this side. So I'm just going to take this and fold it, and I kind of already creased it already the way I wanted it. So I'm going to take my scissors and just cut this side here at an angle. And then I'm just going to fold that down like so and go ahead and fold the other side. And I want to have it lay like that. So let's take our Tombow adhesive, or actually we're going to take the ATG gun. And I'm going to get some tape along here. and just run it down on both sides there. And I want to make sure I got some on the edge as well. So now we can take this and we'll fold it back and make sure I get it folded on the sides that I had originally. So I'm going to place the ribbon about right there on the edge. And then actually I shouldn't have put that ribbon all the way down because I do want to add another piece up under there. So what I may do instead is just make a bow. I was going to tie a fake knot right there, but because I put that tape on all the way, I won't be able to do that. So I'm going to add and make a bow. Or actually, you're getting to see my mistakes again. I'm going to lift this up. And I am going to slide a piece of ribbon up under there and make myself a knot. So I'm just going to take this and tie it. And when I colored the ribbon, I just took a long piece and went ahead and started coloring it with the marker. I didn't measure or anything because, as you know, I don't like to measure. So I'm going to come up just a little bit here. And when you decide to make this, just remember, don't put the tape all the way down if you're going to make a knot. So I should still be able to do it. And it's not as tight as I want it to be, but it still works for me. Like so. And then I'll just clip that off. With my scissors, I'll cut it in an angle, and then we'll go ahead and we'll cut this side as well. Like so. So I have my little knot there. So now, let's continue adding our embellishments. So what I want to do next is I've gone ahead and taken some Prima flowers and some netting, and I've made just a little flower set where I've gone ahead and I took the Prima flower here and I used the gelato pens to color in my edges. And then with these Prima flowers, they were already this color. And this is just some netting that I had from scrapbooking haul years ago. So I'm going to add that. And that's going to be up. I believe I'm going to put it on that side. And then the next thing I want to add is my butterflies. And I've taken the Cherry Lynn dies again. And I've used these before. They look like this. And I'm going to put one right over here by my little bow or knot. And I think that's going to be it. I'm just laying out everything for now. And I think that's how I want it. So now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and start adhering everything down. So the first thing we need to adhere down is we're going to adhere our circle. And I want to make sure I get this lined up with my score marks or pencil marks that I made. So this is going to be here. So I'm going to take my Tombow again, and I'm going to get some tape all the way around on the back side to cover up so that we make sure it adheres and stays down without coming up. And then we'll take that and we'll line it up as close to the center as we can. And then I'm just going to press down all the way around. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my little flower set. Now, of course, I just threw any old brad in the center there, but I will be putting some bling in the center there. So, I think, well, now we're covering up the knot if I put it over there. So, I guess we'll be back to over here. I'm just going to bring my card here so I can see how that's going to look when it sits up. And I think if I put it up there, it'll still go where I want it. Because I'm trying not to take away from this paper because I really like this paper and I think it's a beautiful paper and I don't want to cover it up too much. And my flower is so big that it will cover it. So I think if I have my flower over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about this and I'm going to come back after I've decided how I really want to put this on the card. Okay, everybody, so I'm back. I was just having a mental block as to what I wanted to do with this card. And normally I have my card ideas pre-planned out and I know what I'm going to do. But for some reason, I just had a block and couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. The one thing that I did decide to do was take off the netting off the flower, and I removed the large Prima flower, and I just decided to use just 2 of the small Prima flowers. And then I took and put some bling in the middle, and I colored my bling using my Big Market pens, and this color is Hot Aqua is the color. And I decided I'm going to put my flower right here because, as I said, I really didn't want to cover up this beautiful paper that much. And then I've taken and I'm going to put a butterfly here, and then I've used my Sizzix die and punched out some small butterflies that I'm going to also add. So let's go ahead and put down the flower. And I'm going to add my flower right up here in the corner, like so. And just press that down. And then I've already put my butterfly together, so I'm just going to get some glue on here because I want this to pop up as well. And I'm going to put my butterfly down here in the corner, like so. So then I have, like I said, some little small butterflies using my Sizzix Stampin' Up! Die, and we're going to add these butterflies sporadically throughout the card on the top. So I have some little tiny small ones. So I'm going to take the backing off and we'll add those. And I think I'm going to put one up there in the corner there. And then I have one more little small one, and we'll add that. And then what we'll do is we'll be ready to work on the inside of the card. So we'll just put this little one maybe about right there, like so. So that's basically the front of our card. So now let's work on the inside. So what I've done is I've cut another circle, and this time I'm using just some cardstock that I had, some scraps, and I've inked the edges using the Evergreen Ball by Tim Holtz, and we're just going to put this circle down right inside here. And this circle is the same size as this one, which was, I believe, 4 1/4. And I'm going to take my ATG gun and get some tape on the back of here. And I'm going to add this to the inside of the card. So I'm just going to line this up, and I think I want it to face like that. And we're going to add that. And just press down. So now the next thing that I've cut out, and we're not going to put this down just yet, but this is what is going to be used as the stoppage for when you have your easel and you want to sit your card up like so. We need something to put something here to stop it. So I'm going to have that sitting down inside there like that. And that way my card will stop right there. Or actually, I'm going to just put this up just a little bit here. And I'm going to mark that. But first, before we do that, I'm going to talk about how I cut this, or what this is cut from. This is also from, let's see. This is from the Lacey Labels cartridge. And it's a Cricut Light cartridge that you can pick up at Walmart. I believe some of the Walmarts still have this one. And what we've cut is label number 13, which looks like this. And on your gypsy, or the actual size, I cut this for the first layer is 1 3/4. So let me bring up the gypsy so you can see that. So let's go ahead and go to that cartridge. And that is key number 13, which looks like this. So I've cut one of those, and then I've hit the layer and cut a top layer, which looks like that. And then I hit the shift lock and cut the 13 again. And then for my writing, which is thinking of you, I used my Cricut pens to do the writing, and I have a video out there on how to use the Cricut pens. So for the Cricut pen, what you'll do is you're going to hit your shift lock and the layer, and then you get the thinking of you. And I'm not going to go into details how that works. As I said, I do have a video out there that shows you how to use the Cricut pens and how to set this up. Now, I believe I said that that was cut at 1 3/4 inches. Let me make sure. That is correct. It is 1 3/4 inches. So I'm going to take my Tombow and just line this up on top of here. And I'm going to bring this just a little bit closer to me so I can make sure I get this lined up evenly. So I press down, and then we'll add our little top layer of the flowers, and we'll press that, put that right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add take my Tombow glue pen and just go ahead and get some glue all the way around. Okay, everybody, so I'm back, and I've gone ahead and glued on my top layer, and then I've went and added my bling in the flowers. I went on and did that ahead of time. So now I think we're ready to add our top layer of our scallop card to the scallops. So now let's see if I've got this lined up the way I want it, and it is. So our card will sit up like so. And then we'll add our layer here, and that's what we're going to use to stop the card so that it can sit up when we want to have it sitting up. And once I add that, I'm going to mark that now because that's where I want it to stop at. So now that I've marked that, I do want to put just a small sentiment there in right up in here in the top. So what we're going to add, and we're going to make sure this fits, is I have something that says Most Loved Mom. And this is part of a dollar stamp that I picked up at Michael's in the dollar bin. It was either Michael's or Joann's, so it doesn't have a name who it's by. And I'm going to put that right up in here. So I just want to line that up. I'm not going to use my Stamp-A-Majig for it because I'm pretty sure that's where I want it to go. So once again, I'm going to use the evergreen bow or bow. One of these days I'll figure out how you actually pronounce that. And I'm going to get out my mat so we can move this out the way. So let's get our mat out so we can make sure we get even coverage. So I'm going to ink up my stamp again, and I'm just going to line this up and place it right up here at the top and press down. So there we have that added to our card. So now I think we're ready to put our top layer on. So we'll move our mat out the way and we'll get our top layer. And what I've done is I've gone back and added some bling on the butterflies that were actually on the paper itself. So let's line this up. And so what you'll do is you're going to put your tape along on this side. So let's get the ATG gun out, and we're going to get some tape on there. And you want to make sure you get plenty of tape because you've got to put that top layer on there and you want it to stick very well. And I think we've got enough. So now we're ready to add the top. And let's hope that I can do this and line this up and only have to do it once. And I've got a perfect scallops lined up. So now, so that the card will stop, I'm just going to put one layer of foam tape just so we can pop that up just a little bit. And I'm only going to add it on the edge on the back of here. So I'm going to put one piece here and then one piece here on this side. And that should sit it up just a little bit so that the card can sit up and stay open as most easel cards do. So I'm going to take and line up where I had that pencil mark there in the middle, and there you have it. It lined up perfectly. So that's it, everybody. That's my Mother's Day card number 5 of the series, Mother's Day Cards with the Cricut. And before I forget, I did want to mention that the butterflies that I cut out are from a Sizzix Stampin' Up! Embosslets Butterfly Wings, it's what it's called. And they look like this. Thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget to come back for day 6. Bye.